Welcome! We are the 8-Bit Scoundrels. This is a place where you'll hear us talk about various nerd topics ranging from games, comics, movies, pretty much all the stuff that's going to keep you from getting laid on a Friday night. I'm your co-host, General Zed. Here with me today is Matt the Sauce Caesar.
Keeping it saucy.
The legendary Mr. J.
Hola.
And Judge Fred.
Yo.
Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but I was one of the, I guess you could say, many people that saw Robocop in the past few weeks. The new one that came out. I can't say it totally destroyed my childhood. I don't know about you guys. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I liked it.
It had some really good qualities. I wish they had implemented it in the original one, but I can see why they couldn't do that because of the technology. But there's quite a few things in the new movie that really took away from the original.
Well, I think when it comes to talking about the new Robocop movie, I think there's an elephant in the room that all of us have noticed: the fleshy hand.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to bother me a lot more than it did, but it was still there, and it was never really explained, and it just kind of seemed like an inherent weak point to the whole Robocop overall structure and whatnot.
Now, Zed, as someone that hasn't seen the film, which I have no problem with you gentlemen talking about it for the podcast, go over some of the things that you would compare from the first Robocop to the new Robocop.
Let's point out, if I may.
There's going to be a lot of spoiler alerts here. This is your only spoiler alert.
Also, spoilers.
Yeah.
Don't you normally say that until after you spoil the movie?
Yeah. But seriously, if you didn't see the movie by opening night, then
I don't care.
Yeah, that's your problem.
But anyway,
don't listen to us.
What happens in this movie is it for all intents and purposes follows the same structure as the first RoboCop movie. You have this cop gets killed by the overwhelming forces that be, put in a robotic body, all that kind of good stuff. But they changed the way it happened and stuff like that. Like, for instance, in the original RoboCop movie, we get to meet Alex Murphy. We get to know him as a police officer. We get to know him as a person. We get to see him go and stop the bad guys, and then he gets killed because of it. This time, when it came to Alex Murphy, I think we got to know him for all of about 5 minutes before they blew him up and stuck him in the RoboCop body.
Also, didn't they try to put an emphasis more on his family in this one?
Oh, yeah, the family was a huge deal in this movie.
Well, and that's what I liked. I liked that they implemented more of their family in part one. The problem is that in the second movie, because in the first movie you got to see his humanity, and then you got to see what he lost. You didn't really feel like he lost his humanity in the second movie. But you learned that he was discovering he was more machine than he realized. And it was a different take, which I liked, but I don't think they executed it properly.
All right. Are you referring to the second movie as the reboot, or are you talking about the actual RoboCop second movie?
No. And thanks for clearing that up. No, the second movie is actually the reboot.
So you're referring to the reboot as, for some reason, the second movie, when there is a RoboCop 2.
I know, and they're going to do a reboot of part 2, but let's not go there.
Okay. Well, just to make that clear.
Well, it wouldn't be a reboot, it'd be a sequel of a reboot.
Exactly.
Yes.
But anyway, so let's go around. What are the other things we liked about the movie? As compared to the original.
What are they called? The Ed 209s? Or?
Ed 209s were badass.
Ed 209s, if you see the first movie, you see how intimidating they were.
But they were also kind of a joke in the first movie.
They were, but in the reboot, they were so clean and sweet.
They were more menacing
at executing their commands.
They were more menacing in this movie.
Yeah, they were not a joke.
Actually, most of the humor from the first movie was taken out of this. Like, they tried to play it a lot more straightforward.
Yeah. Also, isn't it supposed to be the Ed and RoboCop? Aren't they supposed to be more of a military spec kind of design?
They were in the story. Omnicorp. It wasn't called Omni Consumer Products.
Omnicorp.
Yeah, at least until the end of the movie. But for the most part, it was called Omnicorp, and they were specializing in robotics technology. And they sent all of their robotic forces into Tehran, which I think is in Iran or somewhere over in the Middle East. And they had them.
I'm sure the people from the Middle East appreciate that Americans don't know where Tehran is.
Yeah,
it's actually Iran.
Hey, ask me to find Florida on a map. Yeah, big surprise. Anyway.
I'm not even sure it is in there.
But no, they had the robots as occupying forces in Tehran, and they were trying to do that as a showcase of how come we don't have this military police force in America. And yeah, they were intimidating, like going through houses and pulling people out and doing like fingerprint and retinal scans of everyone coming out to weed out terrorists and all that crap. And that's actually, the movie opens up with that as their showcase.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now, you guys said that you had a theory. Well, it seemed that you were able to, forget the pun, flesh out why they had the fleshy hand.
Oh, the fleshy hand. Thank you for bringing
No
it back
pun intended whatsoever.
I totally intended that.
Stupid fleshy hand.
That's
let's
why.
flesh this one out.
But I think that was where their symbolism was coming in.
The situation.
Because Mr. J was pointing out to me, but I didn't see it, but when they deconstructed the Robocop's body to let him know exactly what was left of him.
Which was just his brain, lungs, and face.
By the way, that was a mind-blowing scene,
oh
too.
my god. I wish
crap.
they had implemented that in the first original movie.
Yeah, that's the one scene that stuck with me. But in that scene, they show his lungs, his head, they're attached, and then off out in a little bit of nowhere is his freaking fleshy hand.
But
it's still moving.
There's a tube that connects from his brain straight into his hand. It kind of like almost in an L formation.
Yeah. So my theory is it's supposed to be the either symbolism or maybe not even that. It's just the fact that that's the last remaining part of Alex Murphy that can still touch the world. But that's my opinion.
Keeping his humanity in a way?
Kinda. Or being the human hand inside the machine that's pulling the trigger of his gun, because his fleshy hand is also the hand he holds the gun with.
Because I remember Mr. Fred talking about that. What was your thoughts on it again?
Well, this is the way that I interpreted it. The movie didn't feel like it should have to explain why he still had that human hand. I think that the movie wanted to leave it up to you, to form your own conclusion.
But what if he fell on that hand? That's like a 500-pound body.
I mean, well, dude, he's got robotic. Did you see the way he moved in the movie? He moved like Spider-Man, dude. When would he ever fall on his hand and
Yes,
and
but
hurt himself?
if you look at the sequel of the first movie of the 1980s, they tore his legs off, they tore his arm off. If he had his mechanical arm and hand blown off and he trips, or they blew one of his knees out, and he had to stop himself with the fleshy hand.
You know what? At that point, I think the fleshy hand, his hand hurting is kind of the least of his problems.
When he's running into the Vietnamese fields, I'm sorry, maybe it was China. It was China, right?
It was China.
Yeah, it's China.
All right, well, look.
Oh, yeah, because that's the other thing. An American cop assembled in China.
It's assembled in China.
That was like one of the few jokes in the movie.
Like everything.
Yeah.
But when Alex Murphy escapes, he's running down the fields and they shut him off. What if he fell on his fleshy hand?
Well, the original Robocop also had some design problems too. If you always look at the picture, on the back of his calf, there's a tube that connects to the actual, what is that? The motor that helps move his foot up and down.
Yes, it was like a mechanical ligament, basically.
Yeah,
It was basically a hydraulic.
Yeah, it was basically hydraulic. Imagine if that little part broke, his foot would not function. So there's still some design faults in the original as well.
One other thing that just now came to mind, I noticed that his right hand in the movie, I think, was the fleshy hand, if I remember correctly. I think that was also the same hand that they shot off on the Peter Weller version.
I noticed that when I was watching the original movie.
I think they were kind of doing... I don't know if that was probably supposed to be some kind of inside joke on that or something.
I think it was just a really cheap way towards the end of the movie where his system started shutting off because he was going to shoot or arrest somebody who was working for OCP and his program wouldn't allow him to. And his fleshy hand was not part of the system. It was still connected to his brain. So he was able to override it and shoot the bad guy, which was never really established very well as a bad guy. Because in the 1980s, it's very cut and dry who the bad guys are.
Yeah, it wasn't as clear in this movie. But also, now that you bring it up, Hidden Directive number 4 from the original movie. I like how they interpreted that in this movie.
With the red light?
And for the people listening, Hidden Directive number 4. In the original movie, Robocop had 3 directives. They were...
Serve the public trust. Protect the innocents, uphold the law.
There you go.
Oh my God, you are a nerd.
But there was a fourth directive. It was hidden in the system. Even Robocop didn't know about it. That he could not knowingly act against any of the officers or employed by OCP. So the way they interpret that in this movie, it was actually kind of taken from the movie Screamers. So that's the first place I saw something like this, where they had these wristbands that had a red light on them, and anything that had a red light they called a red asset would be recognized by any of their cyborgs, whether it was the human side, the human robots, the Ed 209s, or flying drones, or Robocop. Their systems would recognize the red asset as something that is not to be harmed, and no matter what they did, they could not act against it.
You know, the one thing I missed in the reboot that was very prominent in the first 1980s movie was that he had a spike that could extend from his body and connect to the networks.
The data spike.
The data spike, which he never showed in this other movie.
That's because they have to update technologies, man.
Yeah, maybe they didn't need it.
Oh, he had a USB port built in?
No.
or maybe it was outfitted with Bluetooth, dude. You don't know.
Hell, for all we know, maybe Apple had a hand on it. He had a lightning port.
Yeah.
Wi-Fi, bitch.
Yeah. Dude, you Wi-Fi to the satellite network.
Yeah, well, I can see Robocop walking in every other Tuesday to the Genius Bar at Apple stores, looking to learn his own system. Because, by the way, Apple, if your product is so great, how come there's always people needing help at your stores?
By the way, the opinions of the fabulous Mr. J do not necessarily reflect the 8-bit scoundrels.
Yeah, quite frankly, I love Apple. Except for their new operating system. You can go see they're choking a dick.
Our opinions are of our own choices.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, well, I'm still trying to figure out what he said, but I'm going to agree just for the sake of agreeing.
Because that's the right thing to do.
Alright. Now, when we're talking about Robocop, are we just including the universe of the movie, or are we using offshoots like comic books and video games?
Mainly just the movies, because everything else, nothing else is really canon. I mean, they had the Canadian TV shows that were just god-awful.
They had the US TV show, they had the comic books, which spurred a very fantastic series, which I think a lot of fans would love to see, which is Robocop versus Terminator. But of
Robocop
course,
versus Terminator. The
licensing would be nightmare, so that's why we would probably never see anything to that fruition.
I doubt that. And I know they made a comic book based off of, what's his face, from 300 and Dark Knight Returns?
King Linus?
Frank Miller.
Oh,
Frank Miller. Yeah, because Frank Miller had originally wrote the draft for Robocop 2. And when Hollywood of course took it, they jumbled everything all around, totally pissed him off. So he decided several years ago he made a comic book out of it. So there is actually a comic book Robocop graphic novel that's based off of his Robocop 2 original.
And I heard it's completely bananas. Dude.
Oh, dude, it's nuts.
Are you talking about the comic book where Robocop creates post-abortion?
Wait, what?
Do not
Yes.
know about that.
Because Robocop, with his data spike, connected into the computer system, and when he left the computer system, a copy of his conscience got left behind and became Skynet. And Skynet created Terminators, and then Robocop had to go kill the Terminators, which were technically his clones or children.
You're thinking of the Terminator versus Robocop.
I
was talking about the Frank Miller comic.
Okay, well,
that is not the same thing.
I'm talking about comic books in general, but Robocop did create Skynet according to this comic book series, and then he had to go back and kill all the Terminators.
I need to read about that.
Well,
fetus idea that you brought up. I'll double check the resources.
The whole Terminator movie storyline has just been screwed with every movie. So.
I just think it would be funny, Robocop chasing Terminators with a big giant coat hanger.
Again, the ideas of each host are their own and not representative of the 8-bit scoundrels.
Yeah, that's all Mr. J there. Speaking
of movies...
Yes.
We've all seen the new Transformers trailer.
Oh
God. Look, guys.
Right in the childhood.
I'd like to point out that Michael Bay is the Rob Liefeld of movies. Thank you. And if you don't know who Rob Liefeld is, go listen to another podcast.
I mean, nobody in his movies has hands or feet.
It's just...
And all females have cod pieces.
All right, look. He can't screw up a fourth Transformers.
Yeah, you say that now. You say that now.
Well, I mean, look. See, one thing you guys have to understand about me is that I like to reserve judgment until after the movie's released.
After you lost your money.
Exactly. That's why I spent money on Batman and Robin. Yes. By the way,
It's
George
in my
Clooney,
dream
I want my $750 back, George Clooney, if you're listening.
Man.
I can't believe that I know that movie was released June 20th only because my grandma died on that day. That's how bad that movie is. He killed my grandma. The director of Batman and Robin killed my grandma.
Joel Schumacher.
Sorry, Luz Hernandez.
Joel Schumacher, you bastard.
Damn Schumacher.
By the way, Joel Schumacher, I know you apologized for that, but
He did.
I don't know if I can bring myself to accept
I don't know. We had Christopher Nolan's Batman. I'm willing to accept Joel Schumacher's apology.
I do like to point out that Schumacher is not a bad director. He just took a bad concept and tried to direct a movie out of
Dude,
it.
No,
he actually has made some damn good movies.
Yeah,
but
you know,
damn.
I love Falling Down.
For those
Mr.
who-
Schumacher.
8mm I enjoyed. Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera, The
I
Lost
love
Boys,
Phantom of the Opera.
The Lost
Lost
Boys.
Boys.
Bunch of great films that he's directed, just for some reason.
But yeah, freaking Transformers 4, dude. They're changing Optimus Prime's body shape.
Yeah, he's
They're back into the 1980s truck.
Yeah, they're making it reflect the 80s cartoon.
The flat truck,
Yeah.
the flat front
So he's
trunk.
not a Peterbilt anymore.
Yeah, it's an official Mac now.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I'm not too sure if Megatron and Galvatron are existing side by side.
No. From the toys that were revealed, it's Megatron Reborn. So he will be turning into Galvatron like he's supposed to.
Okay, fantastic.
But
But they're still making him a freaking truck.
Yeah, why? I mean, they could have just done Motormaster from the Stunticons.
Or what was the other guy who had the who was like Magnus something?
Ultra Magnus.
Ultra Magnus.
But he's an Autobot,
He's an Autobot though.
not a Decepticon.
Yeah, but they could have taken that design if they were going to make him a truck.
Well,
He
that's-
carry all the other Decepticons on his back or some crap.
Oh, no, wait. Now you're pulling a Michael Bay thing. Are you saying
I'm
that,
thinking of it in Michael Bay
that Ultra
terms.
Magnus should have been a bad guy?
No, he's
No,
saying
I'm
that-
saying if they were going to make Megatron a truck, why not just use that design instead? Because it's not like they're going to put Ultra Magnus in this movie.
Well, you were talking about this the other day, and I like to hear the sauce. I like to hear Matt Caesar's sauce on this. But they're making Galvatron into a truck. Why didn't they just do it into like a rail gun where he has a big giant cannon on his back?
Yeah, because Galvatron originally in the movie when he came into existence was just turned into a giant space cannon. So why not make him the biggest Earth cannon we have?
Which still has the best death scene when he killed a Starscream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
disintegrated him with his bare hand.
Oh, and by the way, Sauce,
Yeah.
Galvatron, his head turns into a cannon.
No, not his head. His face. His face. He's shooting out of his eyeball.
right.
All right, seriously, that whole thing sounds like something. Yeah. I swear, 4-year-olds came up with that.
I'm not kidding. His face actually opens up and his head kind of flattens out and then elongates and turns into a... He looks like the character from that MDK video game
It's
that came out
Pinocchio
in
turning his nose
1986.
into a cannon.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
All right. Seriously, I can imagine them. Yeah, the producers putting 2 4-year-olds in a room, and then like them being on the other side of a 2-way mirror and just watching these 2 4-year-olds go at it with Transformers, and then writing down what happens.
And then Galvatron, his face turns into a cannon, and then he shoots at you, and then you run him over with Optimus Prime. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. It's against the rules. That is how the entire movie is
Oh
going.
God, Mr. Bay, that is gold.
I think he goes into like a preschool with a list of characters and then tells the children to storyboard a story. And they go, well, what's the story? He goes, whatever you want.
And it's all done in crayon.
And it's all done in crayons. By the way, all the crayons are the same color.
and the crayons are actually chalk.
And then Marky Mark is taking over Shia LaBeouf.
You know what?
Michael Bay.
Here's where I have to disagree with you, Dan, or Mr. J, because I actually like Mark Wahlberg as an actor.
No, I like Mark Walberg, but don't fuck with Marky Mark in the 1980s Transformers all in one movie. Michael Bay is fucking up my childhood.
He's been fucking it up since the second movie.
Oh, that's true.
First movie really was just fucking awesome.
It was actually
It was
very good, the
great.
first film.
I love it.
Then 2, with the swinging balls on fucking
on
Devastator.
which started as a tank in the first movie.
Fucking Jesus, man.
Come on, Sauce, let it out.
And then part 3 was half awesome. I say half because the first half, and then the second half.
Yeah.
Oh my God, everything's awesome.
It's like the last 90 minutes of the movie. That's the only thing you need to see.
Like all Michael Bay films?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Michael Bay films is like porn, where you fast forward through the storyline just to see the action.
Yeah, because who watches it for the storyline, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, I do.
However,
Babysitter porn has.
we are going to get to see Optimus Prime riding a T-Rex.
That is very true. But have you guys noticed that there's a flying Dinobot with 2 heads? And I thought at first they were going to go with, Megatron, they turn him into the Beast Wars.
No,
version.
Beast Machines. Beast
Machines version of Megatron.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually Swoop.
It's supposed to be Swoop?
I figured it was Swoop because Swoop was the pterodactyl in the
Yeah, but why would he have 2 heads? I don't know.
Because 2 heads is more badass than 1, and it's Michael Bay. Dude, it wouldn't surprise me if one of those heads just was constantly exploding.
Is it really 2 heads, or is it our eyes, messing with us, and it's actually his claws that we're seeing as 2 heads?
No. It's 2 heads.
It looks like 2 heads.
It looks like 2 heads?
Seeing 2 sets of jaws.
I gotta see it again.
If it had 1 extra head, I thought it would be a Godzilla movie because it looked like
Rodan.
Yeah.
Rodan?
Anytime a movie like this comes out, I always have a wait and see attitude. And you know what? I have it with this movie here. I want to wait and see. I don't want to pass judgment on it. I think it might be good.
Look, Michael Bay has us by the balls. He knows. Look, this is the material. It has a fan following. We're gonna have guaranteed money.
I'm already invested in it. I have to see it.
We're gonna go see it, but it's gonna suck that we have to spend money to see a movie we know we're gonna hate.
We don't know we're gonna hate it.
It's Michael Bay.
We have preconceived notions that we're going to hate. Just like we have preconceived notions that we're going to hate his Ninja Turtles movie.
Oh, yeah, the Ninja Turtles movie. It's like,
I'm
already to crap all over
No,
that.
we have to go there because we're talking about Michael Bay. He's taking Transformers and he's taking
This is the second
Ninja
80s
Turtles.
property from my childhood.
All right, seriously, why not just give them Thundercats and complete the trifecta, huh?
Oh, dude.
Of 80s
yeah,
cartoon.
And you know what? They probably
Megan Fox is gonna play April O'Neil.
Yeah.
I just hope that they take a line from the 1980s cartoon where Donatello goes, "You know women." Which I don't know how he knows this because he's a turtle and never dated anybody, and they're all virgins unless they're all like shell gay or something. I don't know. And they're doing each other, and that's kind of like well, they're all brothers, but
That's gay and incest, dude.
I know. But hey, look, hey, and can you really trust Splinter? I mean, never trust a rat because they rat you out. I don't know.
Wow, that was...
Oh my god.
Wow.
I'd like to take this moment to apologize and say that my views are not viewed the same way by 8-Bit Scoundrels, Inc.
I also want to apologize to the rat community.
That was just as bad, Fred. That was just as bad.
Screw you guys.
I'd like to thank Judge Fred for taking the flack off me.
Although, I can't say I'm disappointed with the Turtles' designs. I think they look pretty badass.
You know what? There was this other artist. I wish I had the website, but he had his own concept of the turtles. Like Raphael would be a snapping turtle.
That's awesome.
And I really liked his designs better than the ones from the movie. But the movie designs are actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm kind of iffy about, even though it fits Don's preconceived notion, is the goggles that he has.
His goggles and eyeglasses.
Yeah. It's like, I know Donatello's supposed to be the more intelligent turtle.
No. Donatello does machines.
Yes, he does.
Which is gross if you think about it, but keep going.
But do you really need to call more attention? Because I like how they gave subtle differences. Raph looks very muscular. Leo looks very humble. Mikey does, just from simple face expressions, that you could tell Mikey's the jokester. For Don, glasses. It's like, oh yeah, because that screams geek.
How can we make him look like a nerd?
Now, my question is, and I hope they actually do this, because Leonardo, of all the turtles, has the most lethal weapons. And he never really kills anybody in any of the previous movies, does he?
He did slice the legs on some foot ninjas in the first movie.
Yeah, but chopping off a limb and killing somebody is two different things.
I don't even think he fully chopped off a limb.
No, he just slices at him. He could keep them. He could keep them dull, where he doesn't really do that much damage.
It does subdual damage.
Well, see, I think it would be more awesome. Well, I mean, if they're going by the black and white comic books where they actually did kill and they were mean and
they used guns.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, 1980s turtles were hardcore, man.
The Malibu comic turtles.
No, I mean, well, I knew that, but I just never seen them use a gun before.
You know who also carries a gun and nobody realizes it?
Batman.
Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom carries a lot of things with him.
No, but he carries a Luger because if you are not worthy of his energy or strength to kill you,
he'll
he
just shoot
shoots
you.
Because apparently his sorcery has value.
Apparently his Doom bots have value too, because he won't even send a Doom bot to kill you. Bam.
I don't even think Dr. Doom even exists anymore. I think it's just a bunch of Doom bots.
Did you ever read the comic Books of Doom?
The books. Is that the one where he's being interviewed?
Yes. Oh my god, it was beautiful.
Wasn't it a play on like Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Nah, kinda in the fact that he invites an interviewer over to Castle Doom to interview me. He tells his interviewer his life story from him being a child and seeing his mother get murdered when he learns magic and goes to the university.
In great detail.
Yeah, where he goes to university with Reed Richards and their rivalry starts, and how he originally gets his suit and the mask, and it goes over. It was like a four comic miniseries, and it goes over the early years of Doom in such great detail. Only spoiler alert, if you haven't read it, you should have by now. This was like several years ago.
You're gonna hear that a lot in every single one of these levels.
Yeah.
But after 4 comics of getting all this great rich backstory to Doctor Doom, he reveals he takes off his mask because he's going to show the interviewer his true face, and he takes the mask off only to find out that it's a Doombot. A Doombot that has been so thoroughly programmed with Doom's memories that he thinks he's the original Doom. And then, after all of that, the interviewer is like, oh, okay, great, thanks for the interview. She gets, surrounded by guards and taken down to the dungeon. Doom goes, did you really think I was going to give you all of this history of Doom and then let you leave this castle? Bam! Locked away for life.
Her freedom was taken away technically by furniture.
Yeah.
Because the Doombot was just really there to look like Doom is there. He doesn't really lead anything. But it believes it's Doom.
And that's always the weird thing about Doom in general.
It's almost like the furniture from Beauty and the Beast just got rid of their captain.
Killed off the beast.
Just killed off the beast and said, well, we're taking over. And you're going to jail. I know I'm a candlestick, but you're still going to jail.
They're going to blame it on the candlestick? Why?
Because he's French, and the French can't really fight.
It was in the library.
Oh, we're going Clue up in there.
Oh.
They would be cursed, though, if they did kill the beast. They would be stuck in that form.
For those who doesn't know what board game he's talking... For those who don't know what he's talking about, he just gave you a big clue.
Horrible.
Wah, wah, wah.
I need a sound effect from The Price is Right.
I need a soundboard up in here.
Actually, Mr. Sauce, get on that right now. You need to find the fail music from Price is Right. So every time Mr. J speaks,
or any one of us make
button.
a horrible joke, just play the Price is Right fail sound.
Which is probably the most epic fail sound ever. If you heard that, even if you don't know that it's a failure song, you still feel like a failure.
It's one of the most iconic and best fitting, actually.
So, gentlemen, I have a bit of good news for you.
Yes.
What is it?
Fantastic Four, as much as a travesty as that was looking to be, they scrapped the whole thing.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's because all the Fantastic Four actors that were going to be in the movie were like 15 and younger.
Funny you mention the actors because they fired the actors, they fired the director, and I'm pretty sure they burned the script.
I heard that they also fired the movie company that was going to make the movie.
No. That'll happen in 9 months, man. Because now they have 9 months to actually get production going on a new Fantastic Four movie before, and I pray to God this happens, the rights default back to Marvel.
Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, I feel that
all these companies like Fox and Sony with the X-Men and Spider-Man and the Fantastic Four now, they're trying to hold on to the licenses as much as possible because they're riding the coattails of Marvel Studios, who is making these great movies with the Avengers and everything, and as long as those movies are doing great, then their versions of the Marvel movies that they still have the license to, or temporary license to, will continue to make movies no matter how bad they are. So that's how you end up with a bunch of X-Men movies where it's a hit or miss.
Yeah, but at least Sony, on some levels, trying to play it smart and work with Marvel. Because, I don't know, the rumors, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but the rumors going around is that they're going to throw something into Amazing Spider-Man 2 that's going to connect it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which I hope that's true.
Probably
I want to see
Towers.
Probably.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, I think I would imagine that Spider-Man would be swinging off of Stark Towers.
But nah, dude, I did not like a single actor.
Is it even in New York?
Yeah. Well, no, there's 2 Stark Towers. There was the one from the West Coast Avengers, which was in California. And then there's the Stark Towers, which now becomes the Avenger Tower.
Yeah, but for the movie, they're sticking everything in New York.
Yeah.
But no, the actors for the Fantastic Four, dude, I didn't like a single one of them. Like, Reed Richards, I felt like I needed to take his lunch money. He looked like such a goober.
Oh, yeah, for the reboot, right?
Yeah.
For the reboot that they completely scrapped.
I really couldn't tell which one was Reed Richards. I don't know what Michael B. Jordan was doing there.
Michael B. Jordan is which one?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought he was going to play Sue Richards.
See, that's how bad it was. He thought it was actually a woman.
Cast.
If you look at all the pictures of the actors, the one playing Reed Richards has that goofy look on his face like he's getting his butthole tickled.
That's horrible.
I just like to point out, and I've said this, off the record. I'm now officially putting it on the record, and this is completely my opinion. But what is the actor's name? The black gentleman.
That's Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, they made him into the Human Torch. Okay, now he is related to Sue Richards, which is the brother, but now he was going to play an adopted brother, and it would have made more sense if he played Ben Grimm. And even then, I would expect maybe a bigger, more tougher looking guy than that guy.
Well, the dude from The Shield wasn't that tough looking to begin with,
Michael Chiklis.
Really?
He's a pretty tough looking guy.
Yeah, dude. I liked him as the thing.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean, Michael
genuinely like Michael
in The
Chiklis.
Shield, he looks good. I didn't like the prosthetics that they used for the film.
They got better by the second movie by a little bit.
Yeah.
But still, what he brought as Ben Grimm, I enjoyed
like
the hell out of it.
The actor brought a
The
good
movies were still
role
crap.
to Ben Grimm. He felt like Ben Grimm to me. But, like you said, the movies were crap because they didn't do Doom right.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started on that. Oh my god. My all-time favorite comic book supervillain, and they turned him into the biggest puss I've ever seen.
Well, of course.
It would have been nice, actually, Dr. Doom running around with a German accent. Something, but the accent that they gave him, which wasn't even an accent at all. He was an American. Well, he was from Latveria, but he had an American accent.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
if they just used his regular voice, he would have sounded English.
Irish. He's Irish, I believe.
Irish.
Yeah.
And you know what? What's really funny is that the guy that they should have given a British accent, Dr. Doom, they actually should have given him a British accent. They made Reed Richards
who is British.
Iron Gruffudd, really.
Yeah.
Right. He's actually got a British accent, but they told Dr. Doom to hide his accent.
Wow.
I don't know why. It's like if the character is supposed to be from a different country, at least give him an accent, not this standard American voice that we always hear from a lot of actors.
But going back to the new Fantastic Four actors that they wanted them to be, what's his name? Ben? Or
who?
The guy playing the Human Torch.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is a black gentleman, African American, whatever you guys want to say. It would have been racist every 5 seconds in the film that he actually sets himself on fire. And everybody seems to be happy around him. It's like, oh, we have a black guy burning in front of us. So let's all celebrate. He's here to save the day. It's just weird. I don't know. I'm glad that it finally went down.
Dude, the guy playing Mr. Fantastic didn't even look like he was old enough to drink.
Yeah, dude. And I haven't heard a single thing about the script or the story they were going with. Other than that, it was just universally hated by pretty much everyone on the production.
Yeah. I think they decided, well, we can make this movie and lose millions of dollars once it hits, but we would keep the rights, or we just scratch it and try to figure out something else before we lose the license. And it's a gamble. It's a huge gamble, because if they lose the rights to the Fantastic Four,
they're never getting it back.
They're never getting it back.
I think Marvel is praying to every god they possibly can to get those rights.
All right. Which studio was it again? It was Fox, right? Fox Entertainment. That owns the rights to the Fantastic Four.
They own the movie rights.
The movie rights.
They also own the X-Men rights.
Yeah.
Right?
No, X-Men is Sony.
No. X-Men's been Fox since 2000.
Yeah, Spider-Man is Sony.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man. For some reason, I thought X-Men was Sony as well.
No.
For some reason.
Oh, I would love to see X-Men or X-Men more than anything go back to Marvel Studios.
Actually, you know what? The last couple of X-Men movies, X-Men First Class and Wolverine, weren't bad. I enjoyed them.
But wasn't First Class directed by, overseen by Marvel Studios?
I don't know.
That I don't know.
To tell you the truth, I don't know. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed First Class. But the way I was looking at it, they've thrown continuity so far out the window that I just kind of pretend the original X-Men movies didn't happen and they're just starting over with First Class. At least that's how I like it.
You have to look at that. The X-Men movies or any Marvel movies is a whole separate alternate universe. And if there's one company that really deals with alternate universes more than any other comic book company, it's Marvel Comics.
It's Marvel. Even though DC likes to just say, "Oh, time to reboot," and just stick everyone together, Marvel is better at keeping. At least it's like, hey, shit happened in this universe. We're not going to put all the universes together in one.
I just don't understand. I mean, DC Comics makes great animated movies, but they can't get a decent live action one.
Yeah, I just saw War last night. Justice League War.
War, I've been wanting to see it.
Oh, dude, it is fantastic.
Pretty damn good.
The last one I watched was Doom, and I freaking loved
Doom was
it.
good.
Yeah.
I liked
Doom was good.
Basically, for those who don't know, the Justice League War animated movie is basically the first 6 or 12 issues of Justice League from the New 52, except they replaced Aquaman with Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel, since it's been rebooted, is no longer Captain Marvel. His name is just Shazam.
Well, how does that work?
No.
I thought Shazam was the wizard.
Well, yeah, in the comic books, the wizard is dead and transferred all of his powers to Captain Marvel.
But remember, they rebooted it, so he is still a kid. The thing is, with the legal rights, from what I've heard from other comic book fans, is Marvel is stopping them from using the actual print. On the front of the cover, it cannot say Captain Marvel
because they have a Captain Marvel.
Because they have a Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, of the Kree Empire, I think.
Yeah.
But, so in the comics, he could still be called Captain Marvel. But the actual front of the book has to say Shazam.
I understand. But his name is now officially Shazam.
In the show, it is. I've read some comics where they still call him Captain Marvel.
He's got a point, because I remember seeing the first few issues of the new Shazam series where he did have to take over the Wizard's role.
Yeah,
he had to pick a new Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I didn't read past the first couple issues, so I really don't know.
I try to keep up with Captain Marvel, but there's always so much stuff. I'm a big Captain Marvel fan.
Yeah, and I kind of like Captain Marvel. I'm just not into him enough to really follow up on them.
Well, I just like the innocent of Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Shazam, in the sense that he is a grown man, but his mind is still of a 9-year-old kid. So he still wants to go and ride the roller coaster as a grown, powerful man that can fly.
I want to ride roller coasters. I'm 32.
He does.
Yeah, that explains a lot about it.
Yeah. Hey, screw you, man. Goliath at Six Flags rocks.
A lot of people like to go to Six Flags, man.
Accelerator at Knott's, bro.
Goliath at Six Flags.
Yeah, I would like to ride Accelerate, but I'm allergic to gravity.
I would like to ride X. When it's working, that thing is always closed down when I go, man.
Yeah. Hey, Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, and any other company or theme park that has a roller coaster in it, when you guys are testing your roller coasters, please don't stop them halfway upside down while the park is open and then say, all right, the rides are ready to go. You do that when there are no people in the park, you assholes.
I take it you speak from experience.
Yeah, I was waiting in line. We went to Magic Mountain. We were waiting in line. The rides was working, and they stopped the line. Said, "So we need to test something." And then they put the roller coaster in the loop upside down, and then they stopped it there for 5 minutes. And then they said, "All right, we're ready to go." No, you're not, because I'm not ready to go.
Damn, I've never seen that happen all the times I've been.
I've
never seen them actually test the coaster while there's customers in. They would usually close the line, say, "Sorry, folks, we got to test."
I don't think they were in the actual cars.
I'm not talking about in the actual cars where people are literally waiting in line.
Yeah.
The 2-3 hours, however long it takes, just to get into this 30-second roller coaster. And it's like, "Oh, sorry, folks, we have to literally stop the ride to test it for 5 minutes."
Yeah.
It's just, my God.
If there are safety concerns, I understand why, but it does take a lot of work to clear out an entire line of maybe a couple 300 people,
especially when the ride is brand new too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, if you're testing the ride, you test it when the park is closed. Leave it shut down for the entire day. It's okay. People already paid to get in. They can't get their money back. I'm waiting in line with a girl. I'm trying to impress her. I have no problem getting on a roller coaster. That happens. Now I don't want to go up. I look like a big pussy.
Dude, I don't think anyone would call you pussy from seeing them test a roller coaster where it literally stops in the middle of the loop.
Actually, I call him a pussy every time he tells me that story.
All right.
Yeah, but you were my date that night.
And you know what? Not impressed.
You didn't spend enough money.
Yeah, but he still put out, so there you
Didn't
go.
even buy me dinner. You
Wow.
cheap son of a bitch.
All I know is that even though I am not gay, I would still be a top.
All right.